walitudharau. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Milioni from 10 bob, nilitoa wapi extra zeros? Jiulize mbona donati na shimo, shingo shortcut ya mfuko, doni legal, dish kwa rooftop, siya DSTV ya kuomba dish, distinct, vampire vegetarian, whiteheads, 9 believers, wanatuita high class, soma college ya nightclub, reserve sleep, haditaman pay slip, toka niwe fitas, baka panya nimefika, God's finger, ima move strings, walitudharau. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana na toka kitambo nimekuwa photogenic. Wazazi wali insist na story ya photosynthesis. Nani ajui udaktari si lazima uwe mrefu kwa karatasi ya dawa malizange hesabu. Okapo wana need more ink, more pages, jina zifit kwa list. Si exaggerate kakufunika pancha na bandage. Ndova yezi hata ngumi ya mosquito, misi mu important. Bila mimi mama mboga hata ana customer. Ngumu kwangu, kizungu fluent, but uwezi command umati na influence. Walitudharau. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana na kuku yangu inalia ina swine flu. Iliponiona nikinoa kisu, nilikaribisha ili assume ni pet seafood. Homa inafunika nostrils, coincidentally anapika seafood. Akidhani sinusia harufu, uchoyo ainanga karibu. Msoto ikinokto, niko like you look familiar. We met before. Kuku ina I don't eat a cane chick, ni death bending. Hard work to get the best out of life. Get safe, get the best out of death. Hey. Walitudharau. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana now. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Pawa Radio.
Hello there, good morning. This is Power Morning Drive at Power Radio. My name is Omonde Chuka and I'm your host with Oduor Jagero. We apologize for the inconvenience. We had a bit of a technical hitch in the last couple of minutes and that affected our going online. So today we are going to be talking about a very interesting conversation that we have aligned for you. I don't know how you're doing. I don't know kama umefika job mtaani, kama uko home, unafanya chores, ama you're doing work in the farm. Maluluko, just talk to us on Twitter or X at hashtag the Power Morning Drive. This is Power Morning Radio, and we are going to have 2 songs before we come back to the meat of our conversations and look at the headlines today and in the dailies.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
trust kwa hela. Hela, 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 chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula. Na cheki price tag before purchase. Ikiweka uzito kwa budget, but then wanapika gideri na sini kibogoyo. Tactics za uchoyo. Wako chat juu weze for club. Tuko right juu you left. Anaingia kwa marriage, sex, you illegal. We, hisi kalongo longo. Mbona kudu, kenye si udu. Kila siku, savieta haitumiri katishu. Mse msoto, analia njaa. Sonko, ana complain of obesity. Okay, uko sensitive. Kila picha ina negative. Shida wezi hata uwe actor wa Matrix. Wanaweka trust kwa hela. Hela, 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 wanaweka trust kwa hela. Chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula. Wanaweka trust kwa hela. Hela, 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 chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula. Circumstances, inja circumference ya God. Sambamba na kuva vest kwa maeskimo. Nikuwa show, nikuwa bo. Mbwa kali electric fence. Protect life. Lakini hauko safe. From a nagging wife. Kila sipi na tagging pain. Ama ni recipe ya mkocho. When I'm faithful au mangi mangi. Ama unadoza lojo. Zote bure. Tracksuit mbu na bullet. Uwe endea ule. Kabure jayo na skeleton. Yani kufa. Hela, 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 wanaweka trust kwa hela. Chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula. Wanaweka trust kwa hela. Hela, 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 chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula.
Give me a voice that's louder than a whisper. Give me instruction direct from the scripture. Give me a platform like that of a teacher. Give me a chance to influence your future. Let me show you how much you matter. How even you can walk on water. Hand you your best life on a platter. Flow with it, rock with it, run with it harder. It's easy, just follow me, baby. Step one starts when you're calling him, baby. Give it everything like you're losing it, baby. That's no good if you're using it, baby. Got it all planned, don't worry about it. The best is ahead, I'm sure about it. And you can trust him, baby, for whatever. Cause he's the biggest boss that you've seen ever.
Hela, 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 wanaweka trust kwa hela. Chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula. Wanaweka trust kwa hela. Hela, 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 chumvi kwa chai, sukari kwa chakula.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Mantra, dua, night warrior. Night, she's a flashback to any time, any moment. Neza toko na soul man. To any day, juu ya ground above, wanasema ni blessing. Kabla tupe mbali, uangaliwe chini ambao na glesi. Kile mebaki ni kuhadithia kwa njia, sio kwa bahati mbaya. Tunaishi kama ua juu ya grave. Fresh tumekuza pain, nafsi na uma. Maisha gereza, picha zetu zina flicker. Flashing light, mikosi inatokea alafu na do time, the clock is blind. Bio, speedy, sauti za mauti, uko alive, so najua blade ndofanya ukunga unakuwa bloody. Jeans vako, rusha D-blocks, nema ni mahora tu. It's Air Force, OCH, hey. Hini kwa masoja wangu ndani ya struggle. Put the back meli, oyu award na kachogero. Jeans dapo, ngazi na kasoro. Wezangu weki wako blacklist. Mapitio, leo nauza duka. Kesho dunia imekuweka maisha ndani ya chupa. Hauna dhamana wala azimio, leo na blast. Na full blast, tafu siku ingine unapigania uhai. Body ina fight back, mali yako wanajua ni theater. Lakini umetengea umebakia kuwa bega. Ugonjwa deadly, so yako wameieka kwenye stretcher. Wanasema kwa love, kuna remedy. Kustruggle ndo stay afloat. Kila siku una heavy grief. Madawa matibabu zimefail, so nikingoja kifo miu breathe. Don't give up, homie. Nikiwa low na swill soul yangu juu ya wire kanguo za dhobi. Ndani ya fani, umekufuru kwa hizo kanda. Walikutupia mua juu ya geneza. Zilada imetafsiri mwisho wa mchezo. Sometimes unajikuta ukitazama life yako ina go down tragically.
I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming
inspiration in my story. Ukikuza wino unawacha melankolia juu ya mafikra. Symphony ni ya saba. After Kiwas niliona picha mbaya Polonia ukascan kama kazi. Tosikutaka hii plan kucrush. Mbala mwezi ndo unipea huruma na love. Tunuru ikizama staki niathirike ni die sad. Jukila love song ndo ni mind trip very far. The weekend ndo nifanya nijitenge na watu. Samples imejaa blues, mingi opera na jazz. Naomba msiba uniondoke nikifeel body yangu ina cramp, body yangu ina shot. Bado mi utazama juu nikituliza why you. Dunia ikichange rangi, nimewachwa blue. Bado mi wa close to the phone, juu any day miracle inaweza happen through the call. Hold up bro, na kila nikiput soul yangu kwa hii craft. Nasikiza soul yako in the fire back. Sina idea kautasikiza hii track. Sijui vile neza eka life yako kwenye verse. Truth reigns above, romileta bazenga to disorder my imposter. Hini kwa my soul such as villa soul. Sijui ka tunge survive na maujanja. Vita ili tukuta in our prime. Sometimes tulibaki bovu bila pa kugeukia. There was a lot of things in life that brought me pain, but when I hear you breathe I know everything will be okay. Na cheki mami kila day nina hold on. Na cheki mami ana pray nina get strong. This too shall pass and it won't be long.
I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Right, that is I'm a warrior coming to dark night. Ochoka, ebu niambia a bit of those lyrics. What is the name of that song, Ochoka?
It track it into Light Warrior.
Light Warrior.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's very heavy lyrics over there.
Yeah.
What is the import of that song?
the idea ni after go through a certain experience.
Yeah.
Usually we tend to focus on how bad it went, but I think we could use it to reflect light on other people.
Yeah.
So it actually also shows the resilient spirit we have amongst each other.
I love the song so much, and I think I'm gonna request our DJ to play it again immediately after this. I just want to soak myself into it. Before that, there was a song by Juliani, anasema usitumie serviette kama tissue. I disagree.
Kama tissue haziko.
What's the difference?
Kaushaitumia bouquet, sir.
Yeah. So now, let's look at news, brother.
Right.
A lot of things going on, eh? Heavy rain turns part of Nairobi Expressway into a raging river. So that is we are going to be talking about climate change, global warming, and flooding in our beautiful country, especially our beautiful capital city, Nairobi.
Yeah.
You know, the things that we saw, the pictures that we saw on Sunday night.
There's a river hanging online.
There was a river hanging online. It was serious, yeah?
Yeah. Considering that's a very new infrastructure. But yeah, go on.
It's very new in structure. U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants expands reach with a new office in Nairobi. I don't know what that means. Sounds to me like the Rwandan issue, where the UK government wants to
Establish
deport,
yeah.
essentially deport refugees to the tiny African country, Rwanda.
Did they sign the agreement, really? There were talks.
Yeah, it was. They signed the agreement. They were supposed to send the first batch of refugees, but the courts in the United Kingdom stopped it because they deemed that it was against the law. What they are saying is that the lawyers, the petitioners who are petitioning the government, saying that if the government of UK has actually given refugee status,
then why are they shifting them to another country? Why don't they host them?
So Rwanda is not any safe for refugees to start with. That was the
first place. Yeah.
That was the argument by the petitioners. You know. So yeah. So but the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, U.S. CRI, has inaugurated an office in Kenya, highlighting its commitment to promoting the well-being of refugees in the region. The office now adds to its global network of field offices spanning across the U.S., El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico. You see. That means that's very interesting. If you want to run away to the US. Don't go. They are saying don't go to the US. Come to this office and we'll look at your case.
And then merit it.
And then merit it before you actually end up in the United States.
Yeah.
So don't go to the US. You go to Kenya. If you're Congolese, you come to Nairobi. And let's hear your case. Okay?
So they're creating another hurdle to make it harder for people to go to the US directly.
That's exactly what they're doing. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
KPA reports declining cargo traffic through SGR and Nairobi Inland Container Depot.
I think there was a bit of mismatch when Uru moved it to inland dry port.
Yeah.
And then Ruto reneged on that promise, took it back to the coast. I think it's time we actually diversify our port, our port infrastructure. And I think that's one of the things that could actually expand Suswa and Naivasha and just around the environments around these two key towns. Yeah, and it could also actually expedite our agency to move SGR to maybe Kisumu or Uganda.
Yeah. All is gone. Pain of Kangemi residents hit by raging floods. All is gone. Mpaka mwiko bro. Kila kitu imeenda na maji. You know?
Yeah.
This is becoming really, really, really bad. Josephine Imbozo narrated to the Star how the rains had led to the loss of all her household items. Yani kila kitu.
Yani nyumba imeenda hivyo.
Mpaka panya imeenda bro.
A school of rats.
School of rats.
Yeah.
Many households, but anyway, that is just a case in point, an isolated incident, but the story is the same everywhere. Many households in Nairobi were affected by flooding, which occurred as a result of heavy downpour on Sunday. Like many other areas in Nairobi, Kangemi was especially hit
affected,
really, really hard.
We'll talk about it more.
Yeah, some houses
in
were on
headlines.
Tuesday still occupied by stagnant water. The effects of the heavy rains were so lethal that furniture, utensils, even clothes were soaked in water in many of the households seen by the Star newspaper. It's a problem, eh?
It's a big problem, I think.
I hope that, hey, Bana, I don't even know how.
When was the
they
last
start
time you were in
dealing with
in Ungem?
Huh?
When was the last time we were in Kangemi?
I was in Kangemi.
Yeah.
Just the other day, Ricks wanakaanga pande hiyo. So when you are avoiding traffic, you can always
Or
go
you can
that
use
side.
that to bypass
Yeah.
it.
Nairobi Baba is using a hammer, knife on clients. And he charges 8,000 per haircut.
What are they using for the hour, man? Ni kama wale majamaa wanatumia noise.
I think hizo ni stories za jaba za TikTok.
The TikTok. Okay, ongeza view.
Yeah, another interesting. I told our producer needs to buy for us this Standard and Nation because we can't really read them. They are behind paywall. Wacha tuseme hapa kwa air ndo wasikie mabwenyenye. Mabwenyenye.
Why should you suffer the fruit, man?
Mabwenyenye hawa tununulie hii kitu bana. Samaki hii gazeti.
The old skin of the house is not meant to be rubbed on the back of other people.
Acha tuwachome bana.
Right.
But anyway, Kenya loses bid to host climate change center. Yeah. Nairobi to host industry conference and exhibition in June. Very good thing. Another good news is that the Kenya identifies 4 BRT lines to decongest Nairobi city.
This BRT has been in the pipeline for a long time. For almost 4 years now. They even marked Thika Road. Nothing has been done. Finally, it's gonna see the
continue
light.
to mark bana.
Yeah, marking stuff.
Gavaina mark bana. The marking government.
But I don't think BRT is going to decongest our roads. For example, Thika Road, it's not going to decongest
Not going to do it.
First of all, the car uptake has gone up, and the flooding and the traffic in Thika Road has worsened. I don't think it's going to solve it. We need to look at alternatives. Off the road.
Off the road. I think my opinion is if you can get a lot of sane, transporting public transport companies, like the ones we see on Wanye Road, the electric ones especially. If you can get people, if you can carry people and transport people with dignity.
Yes.
And then create a very good payment system.
Yes.
You know, where people can pay via M-Pesa, they can pay via cards. You can issue monthly cards.
A voucher
you can
ticketing
issue,
for a month, yes.
Yeah,
Subscription
weekly,
even for a year.
a day,
yes.
a year. It's going. People are not going to get into their cars if they have got a very good, reliable transportation system with timings. Kama nimesema nataka kutoka town nifike Wanye in 30 minutes. You know, I go there and the car is leaving. Yati pam for another 40 minutes.
And then also something very interesting. Back in the 90s, there used to be these matriz that used to ply from different routes. So you never used to. It needed not to park in town.
Yeah.
So you'd find matri coming from Karen, it would go to Dagoretti, and then it would go to Kangemi, and it would go to Ruaka, and then back.
Yeah.
So you can avoid, or we can bypass CBD. That's number one. It can also create, I think, another business opportunity for matatus to look at these other alternative routes, because there are people who don't work in town. There are people who now work off town.
Yeah.
And there are people who also live in these other outskirt areas. And sometimes connecting is because if you want to go to Ruaka from Wanye, you have to connect town. Or it forces you to go through town.
It's a long, in fact, for Rix has a nini for it, a joke for it. Akikuja kwangu, it is such a long journey for him coming by matatu.
Yes.
Ambapo sasa he can tell you that he's coming, he'll be there at 3. But then he ends up at 6.
At 6.
Ukimuuliza ako wapi unasema tuko Red Hill. tuko Red Hill. Anyway, ni aibu sana wa Kenya wanamuita William Ruto Zakayo. Hiyo mapadri na watu wa kanisa wamesema bwana heshima
idumu.
Heshima kwa nini kwa the head of the country.
Well, people have always done that. Even back in school, we used to have nicknames for teachers.
Why is this
even our dads? Did you have a nickname for your dad?
Yeah, Achona.
Yes. It's always it does actually, it usually reflects your character.
Yeah,
and
but speaking at ACA Emmanuel Church in Bahati, Nairobi on Sunday, March, Nairobi SCK Bishop Joe Waweru said that it was shameful for Kenyans to call president names. I have seen people referring to you in a manner that is not allowed. They have been comparing you to Zakayo.
Yes.
It is very shameful for Kenyans to compare you to Zakayo.
Yes.
Our work is to pray for you and your government. You know? Waweru asked Kenyans to respect the president, saying that God had a reason of putting Ruto in position of serving over 50 million Kenyans. I am in charge of around 130 priests in Nairobi diocese and 300 members of the congregation. I can tell you that it is not an easy task to shepherd all these people. What about the president, who is in charge of 15 million? Anyway, why are they calling Ruto Zakayo, by the way? Do you know?
He's in his issues of tax.
Anatumaliza na tax. Zakayo anatumaliza na tax.
The new pastor and a simp son. He should be truthful. He should be a truthful man.
Jamaa anatumaliza na tax bwana. Sasa sisi tunamuita tu Zakayo bwana.
Ashuke kwa mgumo tree. Right.
Public secondary schools may close early for some reason. Anyway, let's look at sports, yeah?
Yes.
Sports, Belgium and England.
The friendly.
Played to a draw, 2-2.
That's a tough one.
Did you watch it? Bellingham putting the drawing goal at about 90 minutes when the game was coming to an end. Yeah, and there were others. There was England against, let's just go to goal.com and see. 2-2, that was England versus Belgium. And then Maino, the young boy from Manchester United was announced the man of the match. Yeah, that you kijana mwenye
it's coming up nice, yeah.
It's coming very very nice. Anyway, shall we go back to music?
Yes, we could.
Producer atuchezea ile ngoma tena. Wacha tuone kama atatuchezea ama.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Mantra, dua, night warrior. Night she's flashback to any time, any moment.
neza toko na soul man. Juu any day juu ya ground above wanasema ni blessing. Kabla tupe mbali uangaliwe chini ambao na glesi. Ile mebaki ni kuhadithia kwa njia, sio kwa bahati mbaya. Tunaishi kama ua juu ya grave, fresh tumekuza pain nafsi na uma. Maisha gereza, picha zetu zina flicker, flashing light mikosi inatokea alafu na do time, the clock is blind. Bio speedy, sauti za mauti uko alive, so najua blade ndofanya ukunga unakuwa bloody. Jeans vako, rusha D-blocks, nema ni mahora tu. It's Air Force, OCH, hey. Hini kwa masoja wangu ndani ya struggle. Put the back meli, oyu award na kachogero. Jeans dapo, ngazi na kasoro. Wezangu weki wako blacklist. Mapitio, leo nauza duka. Kesho dunia imekuweka maisha ndani ya chupa. Hauna dhamana wala azimio, leo na blast na full blast. Tafu siku ingine unapigania uhai. Body in a fight back. Mali yako wanajua ni theater, lakini umetengea umebakia kuwa bega. Unaugua ugonjwa deadly, so yako wameiweka kwenye stretcher. Wanasema kwa love kuna remedy, kustruggle ndo stay afloat. Kila siku una heavy grief, madawa matibabu zimefail, so nikingoja kifo miu breathe. Don't give up homie, nikiwa low na swill soul yangu juu ya wire kanguo za dhobi. Ndani ya fani umekufuru kwa hizo kanda, walikutupia mua juu ya geneza. Zilada imetafsiri mwisho wa mchezo. Sometimes unajikuta ukitazama life yako ina go down tragically.
I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah.
Wale wana find inspiration in my story. Ukikuza wino unawacha melancholia juu ya mafikra. Symphony ni ya saba. After Kiwas niliona picha mbaya Polonia ukascan kama ikaze. Tosikutaka hii blend kucrush. Mbala mwezi ndo nipea huruma na love. Tunuru ikizama staki niathirike ni die sad. Tukila love song ndo ni mind trip very far. Garika ndo nifanya nijitenge na watu. Samples zimejaa blues, mingi opera na jazz. Naomba msiba uniondoke nikifeel body yangu ina cramp, body yangu ina shot. Bado mi utazama juu nikijuliza why you. Dunia ikichange rangi nimewachwa blue. Bado mi wa close to the phone. Do any day miracle inaweza happen through the call. Hold up bro, na kila nikiput soul yangu kwa hii craft. Nasikiza soul yako in the fire back. Sina idea kautasikiza hit track. Sijui vile neza eka life yako kwenye verse. Truth reigns above, romileta bazenga to disorder my imposter. Hini kwa my soul such as villa soul. Sijui ka tunge survive na maujanja. Vita ili tukuta in our prime. Sometimes tulibaki bovu bila pa kugeukia. There was a lot of things in life that brought me pain, but when I hear you breathe I know everything will be okay. Na cheki mami kila day nina hold on. Na cheki mami ana pray nina get strong. This too shall pass and it won't be long.
I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah. I'm a warrior, coming to this fight, yeah. In the dark night, coming to bring light, yeah.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night.
Power Radio.
Tunang'ang'ana mali tuko, hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow, tunafall. Tunang'ang'ana mali tuko,
kweli Afrika,
hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow.
hey, sioni vitu zikienda right. Ninateseka kwanza sai vile vitu tight. Nikiwa mtoi dream yangu ilikuwa bright. Sai ni karate mi na life to fight. Hakuna haja ya kudanganya na bonga truth. Ni dare to live kwanza mta ukiwa youth. Wanasema ni sisi drugs tuna abuse. Pesa tukipata bado tuna misuse. Maisha yetu imesetiwa kama egg. Na tuko kwa risk tumehangiwa kama peg. My youth kwa death tuna lead. Hatuna kazi ama nisi wataki to feed. Seti chuo ni sisi tulikata kuread. Ni vile maparo aki walikosa fee. Saimta ni extrajudicial. Hadi kutembea unajipata mali crucial.
Tunang'ang'ana mali tuko, hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow, tuna fall. Tunang'ang'ana mali tuko, hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow.
Kuna kazi ni kusaka kazi. Daily tuna hustle na to get easy ganji. Kazi kwa vijana imegeuka ya mabuda. Lazima wanijue ndo wani consider. Nikiingia kahaba wanaanza kunijudge. Sikupenda kwangu mina dai pate lunch. Cause nikika kwa nyumba nitalala njaa. Ndo maana mitaani kuna wezi wamejaa. Wamama wajane wameishi wana hope juu. Job hakuna wameshindwa na kukop. Watoi waendi chuo wamelemewa na fee. Rent mekuwa ngori chakula pia nizi. Na notion wako nayo ni mademo fai kazi ati kushinda kwa nyumba ndo kazi natufaa. Na kama sina pesa basi siwezi get kazi. Nipe mimi nikupe tu negotiate kiasi.
Hakuna job, tunang'ang'ana mali tuko, hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow, tuna fall. Tunang'ang'ana mali tuko, hivyo ndivyo kuko. Lini tuna move on, lini tutagrow.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Oya rada nigani, this is Power Morning Drive. Na mimi ni Omondio Chuka with your host, Oduor Jagero.
Yes, Oduor Jagero.
So today, we are going to talk about climate change. But before we go before we head that route, I think we're going to do the dailies, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So on the dailies today, we have the Daily Nation. On top of the page, top of things, on top of the table, job losses as 140 state farms to go.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm in full agreement that they should be. We have too many parastatals. We have too many things that are probably doing the same thing, and I agree with the president and his team.
Yeah, so they're gonna.
That you need to trim all those things. There is a lot of wastage, and many of them are always on the red.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to wind up or merge most of them. One very interesting thing about Posta, Posta has infrastructure in nearly every part of major towns in the country.
Yeah.
If they could turn it into drop shipping and a logistics parastatal, it would be a really good.
Yeah, they would have been better than the courier companies.
The DHLs and the couriers and
yeah,
D4S. Yeah,
but I feel like the reason why Ruto and the president is not interested in this parastatal is that they do not have a business mindset. Wako tu hapa kukaa tu.
And they don't even have a social welfare anyway.
Lunch.
Sometimes I wonder what philosophy they have, these parastatals.
But you see now they are.
And what's your opinion? Because the alternative that the president has been fronting is privatization.
For me, I think when you are registering a business, you can have a business a company limited by guarantee.
Yes.
Meaning that that company can get grants from donors. It can also do business.
Yes.
You see, and I think that is how the government should be set up.
Yes.
To be able to get, but these parastatals should be able to get grants from the government to run their operations, but they should also do business, things that give them money.
Generate them income.
Yeah, but I feel like they're relying so much on the money that is coming from the national government and not doing enough.
They're also squandering it.
Yeah, you see, but that's another thing altogether.
Yes.
We should have had, Posta came up with the idea of having those people are paying and having virtual virtual
Post
PO
box,
boxes.
yeah.
It's a very, very good thing, and I think the person that came up with that was a very brilliant idea.
Yes.
But they need to do more. I think the government should always, before the head of a parastatal is, Ruto should not just bring his own tribesmen to be
Cronies.
running those things.
And
Get
right-
somebody who is business oriented.
Yes.
Somebody who can do something properly, and then they run those things as businesses. And for us Kenyans, we have no problem for paying for services if it's working for us. Yeah.
That's a very good criticism. So on the next page 2, we have youth prefer to start business rather than be employed. What do you think?
I don't. The totality of that statement. The premise is it true that they don't want to employ them, or there are no jobs?
I think the current generation kind of feels trapped when they have a 9 to 5. That's number one. And because employment is really changing, the dynamics of employment is really changing. Today, a lot of young people are relying on the gig economy, for example. And once you have relied upon your self-management and self-employment and just generally bidding for gigs all over the world and not just around Kenya, you get to see that sometimes you get the short end of the stick when you're working on a 9 to 5 in a workstation. And therefore, you are likely to opt for you managing your affairs on your own instead of being employed by somebody.
What is the background of that story? What were they going? What are they when they initiated that research? What were they looking for?
The background is they're saying there's a crisis of employment. There are no jobs.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yes.
There are no jobs. So at some point, lazima uji
You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you just take care of yourself. I think that is the idea. There are no jobs, bro.
On page 3, we have the man who gifted Senegal 2 first ladies a peek into Bassirou Faye. There's a 44-year-old who won the elections in Senegal. He was the opposition leader, number 1.
He's polygamous.
Yes.
But the way they are framing that news, Joe.
It's a soundbite.
Tulipewa two women.
I wish he highlighted other issues instead of focusing on him having 2 wives. And then we have civil servants living in state houses to part with more rent. I think it's about time. Do you some government houses? People are paying almost 2,000.
If they're going to plow back that amount of money into making those estates have some proper amenities,
yes,
like playgrounds, like slashing the compounds, and some of those houses are really dilapidated. They look really bad.
Yeah.
They still have that red cement.
Floor.
Yes, the red cement floor. There are no windows.
Yeah. Or they're broken. Automeka magazeti huko.
Kuna maji.
Tiny.
I went to a friend who is living in one of those government quarters. It looks really bad, man.
It's not good. It's
like
not dignified.
It's yours. It's like your home. You literally take care of everything. Maji unajiletea.
That's on you.
Yes.
So most people just stay there because it's slightly cheaper compared to the market rates.
Obviously, it is very cheap.
But there's a lot of sometimes cheap is very expensive. The conveniences of having to buy water and having to
do all those things, slash the compound by yourself.
Yeah, and even
because you see, they are just machinettes. And
yes. And then we have on the Standard revealed faces of Shakahola's horror killings. I think the government finally decided to publish the victims and those that are believed to be behind the Shakahola killings. And then
it was a tragedy.
It was a big tragedy. I wonder how we're gonna get past this, or we just bury it in a mass grave and move forward.
Man, the idea religion is a difficult thing to discuss.
Right.
Because it is anchored on a lot of things. It's anchored on witchcraft. Religion is anchored on poverty. Religion is anchored on sickness, disease,
and hope,
and hopelessness and hope. And so, Chuka, when you know what pain is, and when you are in that deep pain and somebody's telling you, "I'm gonna sprinkle something on your forehead and you're gonna get better."
Yeah,
you
can do it.
You are desperate.
I've been there.
Yeah. So, in as much as I want to blame these people that have done these crazy things, the responsibility lies especially with the people that are running these churches. you know. So they are the ones that we must, demand responsibility from. The greed in religion, the greed sometimes in church, and outright lying to people that this is going to happen to you. Like gambling with the word of
Selling
God.
hope.
Yeah, selling hope, selling healing, doing all those kind of
Do you think
things.
it's going to happen because the government was trying to move towards policing churches?
The government cannot, if our current government especially cannot police churches because they are Christians
The victims,
themselves.
yes.
You remember Kagame went really hard on churches.
Yes.
Some 5-10 years ago, and he said that, well, if you must register it. Kagame insisted that this is a business. Usitudanganya kwamba unafanya kitu ya muhimu sana. Hii ni biashara unaanzisha.
And I wish more people would be that honest.
Yeah.
Because a lot of churches are business at the end of the day. Yes, there is a spiritual and social function that churches do provide. But at the end of the day, the idea, the model behind it is a church. It's a business. It's an organization. And organizations are supposed to be administered. They have costs to incur. They have a rent to pay. They have, it's a business at the end of the day. And then we have Silas, 2 lives in the red in the US, but a thriving investor here. So they highlighted a story of a gentleman who is living lavishly and how the police was on his case, probing how he got wealthy.
That is in the US?
No, both in the US and Kenya. So fortunately, the court cleared him because they're saying he got the money from investments locally and money lending. Shylock
people.
Yes. Why I don't know. I don't know what's your opinion of the society being very critical on young people getting money? Or do you think that we have a social responsibility towards the kind of wealth we have?
I don't think that anybody would have a problem with your choker if you have 30 acres of land and you are farming onions there. You are farming, you are farming tomatoes there, and the business can be seen.
Yes.
The problem that Kenyans are having is that we have a young Ochuka who is 32 years old, who is having X7, is having Mercedes Maybach.
This guy even owns a chopper.
Is having a chopper.
Yes.
But we can't see. Even if we brought you to an interview like this and asked you, where are you getting all this money? A Maybach is like 30 million.
30 meters.
And then you have an X7, which is another, let's say, 17 million. Your cars alone are going to 100 million. I mean, what kind of business are you doing that is giving you all this money, all this extra money to spare? Kwani unapatia watu loan ngapi?
Tusema ni God.
Sasa unaona?
I'm working smart.
Hapana. Working smart is sometimes just gambling and stealing from people.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have why public secondary schools may close early. I think this is because the government has delayed in the release of the capitation. We talked about capitation the other time.
Unasema endeni mkule nyumbani.
Yeah, and then so this has also created difficulties in sustaining operations within secondary schools. And then more news on lab staff issuing a strike notice as doctors impasse with the state bites. This is tough.
Has it been resolved, the issue with doctors?
They've not resolved it. They've not declared what came out of that meeting at State House. And the lab staff are now saying we are going to join them. So it kind of like it's going to paralyze operations.
But if they're not doctors, then basically there is no job for labs guys.
They are.
It's the doctors that send guys to the lab.
Yeah, that's one. But you see, sometimes operations keep on going on in hostels. Like the nurses are still there.
But nurses do not send anybody to the lab.
They do.
For what?
Those that are admitted. For example, if you're admitted yesterday and there are tests you're supposed to do tomorrow.
But you have to see a doctor for you to be sent to the lab.
And the doctors strike tomorrow. See, the test you're supposed to do will still go on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then also the patients who are having regular tests, like those who are
admitted.
But
after 3-4 days, is there anything that they're doing if the doctors are still on strike?
Not much. Not much.
So I think they're just joining their colleagues.
They're just joining their colleagues. And then also we have Kalonzo and Karua redouble efforts in battle to succeed Raila.
Hey man, hiyo mambo inanichosha tu bwana. Hiyo mambo ya Kalonzo bwana, hao vigoko wa siasa bwana, those veterans bwana.
Yes.
Huyu jamaa hizi enda nyumbani alale.
Yeah.
Huyu jamaa wa Kalonzo huyu.
And a chill, yeah.
Ai bwana.
First of all, this guy is always just, I don't know, he never has a stand.
Kina Karua bwana wamechoka.
They're tired.
Let young people
We
go.
have new blood.
Let young people go and fight for these things.
On Business
I
Daily.
can also be a president, you know.
Yeah.
I know what ails this country.
You can
I
cure
know how
it.
to take care of floods.
You're not selling us hope.
No. I know. I know what is going on wrong with this country. This country needs to be run properly. Like
What do you
bit
think
like-
is the
like
number one sickness of this country?
corruption and mismanagement of funds?
You said two.
Hmm?
I just asked one.
One.
Yeah.
I think okay. I must give you an explanation
Go ahead.
of what is wrong with this country. So, and I'm going to give you an analogy. You have a house,
I have a house.
okay? And you're the head of that house. And you're saying that this house, I want it to be the best house in the world. I want it to be smart so that even when I'm out, I can see what is going on there. I want it to have running water, you know? I want it to have proper power. And everybody that is in this house needs to eat a balanced diet. This house, everybody in this house, I need them to have proper health care. Okay? I need them to have very good education. Everybody in this house. Everybody in this house needs to be taken care of. Now, as the head of that house, I have a lot of love and good faith in running that house. So, that house, make it Kenya.
Yeah.
Have that house as Kenya. And then we have the head of that country, Kenya, who has the same love for that house. At the moment, I don't think we have somebody that has so much love
For our country.
that house.
Are you just talking about patriotism?
No. I'm talking about running a house. I'm not talking about patriotism. It could be patriotism, yes. It's the love of the country, right? You know? But I don't think that that's what we don't have. I still don't believe that the president of this country has that love for this country. I do not believe that the ministers have such love for this country. I do not believe that the MCs have got love for this country. I do not believe that the governors have the same love for their country. I don't believe that the president has love for this country. I don't believe the governors have love for the counties.
Yes.
I don't believe the MCs have got love for the wards. I don't believe the MPs have got love for the constituencies.
What does this love look like for you? Like paint a picture for it.
Nimekuambia too. Love in the sense that for example, constituency, does it have roads?
Yeah.
If agriculture, if there is agriculture that's supposed to be there, do people have fertilizers? Okay, if it's about health, do people have clinics? Do we have hospitals? If it's about education, do we have schools? Do we have this and that? I mean, do we have electricity? Do we have power? That's the kind of love I'm talking about. Like I started saying is that if you're having a household, then there are things that you want the people in that household to enjoy.
Yes.
And that is where I think we have a problem. The other day I was listening to Candice Owens talking very passionately about the kind of government that they are having in the US, and the issue that she was asked on Breakfast Power Show in New York, whether he thinks that Biden likes black people, or if Donald Trump likes black people.
Yes.
And she said, no, I do not believe that they love black people, and I do not believe they even like their fellow white people.
White counterpart. Yeah.
You know? So the idea of loving people and doing things the correct way, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. On the Business Daily, we have state tax on steel tycoons with new 220 billion planned increase in local production. I think they're looking in terms of how they're going to do the housing, and because it's going to consume a lot of steel.
So they want to do what with the steel?
They want to invest in the steel industry, the steel and local production industry.
What does that mean? The government?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I think they're going to partner with the local steel industry or manufacturers.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
You know, the government of the government of the United States the other day gave about $4 billion USD to the chip making.
To the chip making,
Intel.
Yes,
is it?
yes.
So I believe, for me, sometimes we feel like this is gonna be another avenue for corruption, but let's give them the benefit of doubt.
Right. And then we have NHIF system outage leaves thousands of patients stranded. We talked about this and how to leverage on technology and how to avoid such things. You can't be having this for days now, 3 days now. And then we have electricity demand soars on economic recovery. And then we have electricity mobility startup Basigo had received 395 million in equity funding from CFO Group. I like that we are moving towards a slightly dignified public transport by the uptake of electric cars and electric trees. They're smooth, they are, well built.
Watengeneze tuonge na maconductors wakuwe tu watu wazuri. Then everything is going to be alright.
Yeah. That's today on the dailies. Yes.
Listen to some music. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about global warming, climate change, and floods. Sindio?
Right.
Yep.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Fun beyond.
Now daughters, born I'm a girl, living in a manly world, yeah. No bed for me back, unless somebody gonna take me in. Papa say you better find your place, time for hand your bed for me little ones. Brother say you better find a man, need a settlement for me investment. Only 16, growing up a woman and no choice. Oi unalia, na kucheki vile unasafa no. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. You are gonna rise up one day, now lose hope. Child of the earth, don't you ever lose your glow. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. So me head to the city with little education for me back. To stay with an uncle and an aunt as a help for his life. I know big young lady hit the flow. When wife away, man, I wanna touch me low. Try to refuse, yeah, go suffer some blows. What is my crime? Is it because I'm a woman? Nah. Just because I'm a woman? Nah. Oi unalia, na kucheki vile unasafa no. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. You are gonna rise up one day, now lose hope. Child of the earth, don't you ever lose your glow. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. So me meet another brother, he must say I need a wife. We cook and clean and me know me need a bed. Now, to save me this shame, baby, save me this shame. Messiah turned the devil drawing blood from my skin now. No. Broken bones, shattered dreams. I'm in pain, cannot breathe. Oi unalia, kucheki vile unasafa no. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. You are gonna rise up one day, now lose hope. Child of the earth, don't you ever lose your glow. Oi unalia no, na kucheki vile unasafa no. Searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection.
Seeking attention, searching for affection. I want to leave this place. I'm looking for my homeland. Nimechoka kukaa hapa. Nataka mabawa nipae, 'cause I want to go. Nataka kwenda I found I'm always seeking attention. I found I'm always seeking love. Ego overrides me and blinds me. I found I'm always seeking attention, searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection. Seeking attention, searching for affection. Now that I've seen this face, now they may recognize the culture. Ningependa kukaa hapa, ili vita nishinde before I go. Kabla niende I found I'm always seeking clarity. I found I'm always seeking the truth. Lust is always following and hunting me. I found I'm always seeking attention, searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection. I'm seeking attention, searching for affection. Seeking attention, searching for affection.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night.
Power
Radio.
Yeah, twende 1 2 1 2 OCHUKA. Grave ndo suit tupa stench na cuss. Vultures wana hangover, karamu ready ku blast. Home do beba uchi wetu car stretch marks. Migodi za kinshasha ni vita na siol simaro lutumba flash out. Gadgets fancy tukicruise kwa uber map lines zimekuwa bloodlines. Genocide ndo to cross over. Ballad sio showstopper. Strip off body rokopa. Mitani dump sides za contraband vita yani. Take flight tours za Tanzania kusifu future black. Makasi kwa reborn. Carpet zimekava blood bath. Tamaduni ndo tusuta. Tofauti zutuleta close. Process kwa soil. Africana kahawa ina taste closer to blood. Risasi zinaua raia. Rais alizunda bunge. Ndovu zinapora kufadhili ndoto za mapede jeneka. Rally crowd zinahema mauaji kiholela ili waheshimiwe. Tafsiri kila mtetezi ana zake, risasi zinamgoja azimwe. Sihitaji flow kali ndo hisia zijadiliwe. Masomo ndio kwanza yetu adui. Hatuwezi simamia sisi wenyewe, tunangoja katu kwa laini msaada tupewe. Na zimepita miaka, siku moja njaa itamua mlafi mwewe. Anayepora kwa dhamira yake mwenyewe. Wanaofilisi umma kwa sababu ya ujinga, umaskini, maskani njeve. Afrika ninakulilia wewe, ndio nikitoa sauti sijui kaita babili chochote. Au ni migogoro na fitina ndo kutuandama siku zote. Siku zote. Nilipofuatika wasifu ilikuwa bita, historia ikafutwa kabisa. Chozi la bingu ndo unyesha watenda wema na wenye hila. Undi mekosa kinga, juu yenu tunalima mawatenda tena. Airlift, picha za bega usaidizi urudi tena. Nyisi watu tena, nyini sijui hizi vumbi yao inaweza kwa mchanga au kiu ni body na jimeza. Downtown, domo ina maketepa. Kuna Kongo ina flow, inaletaga nostalgia hivi. Hapa ndio bongo ya nai, biz commercial. Ni kaya mangirima, wamekomasio. Mchana marathon, juu ya zambio. Masiti hoka, kanjo, matrimbo, karasha. Mitani wanarudi after hustle. Pande nyingine chunga sana usiperembe jasho, ni sente chupa za jana au kukafunga jioni landi mawe macho zinapenyeza. OCHUKA usiku zile bulbs funny blue magenta, mahanis wana hook bite. Chunga mchele usije ukabebwa, ukichafuliwa pia kuna mashini za kuosha nyota. Kuna dawa za kugeuza mende shilingi pesa, inatafuta magedha ukichanja sana ficha white. Usipopata zidi ngara wauza chuma kali kwa grind. Karioko kwa grind, yeah. Sure, ni radio OCHUKA live.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Power Radio tuning fire up. This is Power Morning Drive, and this is me, Odur Jagero, and Omondi Chuka.
Yes. We have been having a lot of problems with the issue of floods.
Yes.
And I wonder whether I've been reading about it, about why cities are not able to contain floods, especially when there is a huge downpour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have seen that there is increased impervious surfaces. So cities grow, natural landscape like forests and fields are replaced with concrete, asphalt and buildings. That is very true, correct? We have seen that watu wanangusha tree sana and then erecting huge buildings. These impervious surfaces don't allow water to seep into the ground, leading to massive amounts of surface runoff during rainfall. And also the other issue is overburdened drainage systems, Mr. Choka.
Yeah.
Urban drainage systems are often designed to handle a certain amount of rainfall.
Yeah.
When heavy downpour or extended periods of rain occur, these systems can become overwhelmed, leading to water backing up and flooding streets and buildings. And also the old cities may have drainage systems that are inadequate for the amount of development that is taking place. Yeah.
One thing that has particularly interested me in terms of when you talk about the climate change or the global warming conversation, is how do you explain it to a layman?
The global warming. How do you explain our global warming to an
layman, to common mwananchi?
I don't know. For example, a warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture. This leads to more intense rainfall events, overwhelming urban drainage. Okay. And then I don't know how to explain sea level rise. So there is the issue of global warming is that coastal cities are particularly vulnerable because of rising sea levels. How do you explain sea levels, rising sea levels to the... Imagine akwa mwingi.
In a rise.
In a rise, yeah. Then there is also the change of storm patterns.
Yes.
Yeah. So global warming alters weather patterns, potentially leading to more frequent and severe storms in certain regions. And severe storms might mean severe rainfall. So this increases the likelihood of flash floods and prolonged periods of heavy rain that overwhelm the earth. Yes.
However, I think the conversation I needed to get out of you was, you see, when people talk about most of these technical issues, sometimes relaying it or communicating it to the layman person, it becomes very difficult. It kind of feels like you're talking jargon. And I feel like sometimes, let's say we're talking about global warming, and people don't notice that the heat has been a lot. I mean, okay, yes, Januaries and Februaries are usually very hot seasons, hot months, and dry months, there's no water. But it's increasingly hot. So what causes that, and why are we there? And then you realize that there are things that determines the way climate changes, and you've mentioned some of them. Let's break them down a little bit. The ocean is very important. Bahari, it's very important when it comes to global warming or climate change.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's a lot of changes that happen within the ocean. First of all, the rising tides. Zile tides zikirise na zinashuka chini. There's a way it affects the water volume that comes to the shore and goes back.
Yeah.
And then also there's the polarity of how the swirling happens. Unaona vile bahari inakuwa na a lot of turbulence.
Yes.
So when that happens in an exceeded way, sometimes it can create an overlap of water into the mainland.
Yeah.
That's the other one. And then also we have to look at our activities, our human activities that put us into this risk. For example, you've talked about logging down trees and then building concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Ruaka, Ruai, Kikuyu have been affected so much because Nairobi is choking on itself and now it's needing time on space to breathe.
Yeah.
So the victims are these other satellite estates that used to be there, like Kina Riruta, Kina Kitengela. People are moving those sides. And so we also have to look in terms of how, like, for example, when we talk about the issues of flooding, you see, water is always being wasted when there's rain and it's not harvested at all.
Yeah.
I think there's a time I saw there used to be this guy who used to create scenario imagination for, like, let's say there's a time he was very critical about the expressway, how he would redesign it for it to be more eco-friendly and then also to customize on aesthetics. And I think also he talked about how he would this is Odur Jagero also, not Odur Jagero, Odur Oduku.
Odur Oduku, yes.
Yes, he had a very interesting model in terms of sinking absorption panels in Nairobi within the streets and then leading them to a channel to a certain dam outside in the outskirts of Nairobi.
Yeah.
So this would mean that all the flooding water that comes into Nairobi is actually harvested and not put into waste. Yes.
Okay. Imagine the earth has a fever.
Very interesting analogy.
The sun warms the earth. That's natural and keeps us comfortable. But then humans are doing things like driving cars and using lots of electricity that release the stuff into the air. This stuff acts like a blanket around the earth. The blanket is trapping too much heat, just like when you have too many blankets on your bed and get too hot. This is making the earth's temperature go up. It's like it has a fever, and that's what we call global warming. Why is fever bad for the earth? Ice melts faster, glaciers and polar ice caps melt, making the oceans rise, which can flood cities. Weird weather. Some places get way too much rain, others have terrible droughts, storms get stronger. It's hard for animals and plants. Things change too quickly for some animals and plants to adapt, so they might struggle to find food or places to live. People get hurt. Floods, heat waves, and trouble growing flood can all make life difficult for the people around the world. But we can make the fever go down. Use cleaner energy, like the power from the sun or wind instead of burning stuff. Drive less, walk, or bike more. That is why we are saying in Nairobi City, we should be having a car that can carry 100 people instead of 30 cars carrying 30 people.
Absolutely, makes sense.
Yeah. Drive less, walk, or bike more. You know? How about planting trees?
Probably more trees.
Yes, they take in some of the stuff that causes the fever.
It does.
If you are layman, you may understand. How about you understand as a layman?
Sambamba kabisa.
Yeah. It's very, very good. I think that's what should happen. But then the question that I wanted to ask you is that why are we building so much in this city? And even if we were to build much because there is need for more housing, how do we go about it?
I think one thing that we are getting wrong is just putting in glasses and concrete. And there's very little space for, like, for example, in New York, there's the Central Park. Central Park is so important to New York. If it was not there, New York would choke to death.
Yeah.
You know. And now we have Uhuru Park, and of course we have Arboretum, and we have Karura. These are not enough. So we have within our estates designers or more, developers building very tall buildings, but there's very little green space. There's not even a garden where somebody can go chill on a Sunday afternoon, or where kids can play. You know, there's just a little breathing space. Or if you, okay, let's say you develop a house. Why don't you create a corner, an eco corner where you can plant some few trees, and then research on which trees are better for such spaces, because not all trees are better for such places. So that if we have at least every developer or every new house that is built has a green corner.
Yeah.
Overally, or if you take, let's say, an estate, you'll have a good square foot of green spaces. But now we are erecting more concrete but very little green spaces.
Natural habitats.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now that means that for people who value green spaces and like an open eco-friendly space, they're now moving out of this once leafy. So do you know why they're called leafy?
Because they've got trees.
That's number one. Yeah, that's the literal meaning of a leafy suburb. Because if you walk there, the air would change.
Yeah.
The air would change, and you would feel like a change of
just being in
of mint.
just being in Congo,
Being in-
Congo Kawangware.
Yes.
And then you start just going into Lavington.
Yes.
Things change.
Things change rapidly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think, like I was saying, that if there is no problem with adding additional properties because people need properties,
Right.
people need houses, and
Yes, we
people
do.
need hospitals, and people need all of those things to survive. We can do energy efficient materials. Use building materials with low embodied carbon, the emission created in their production and transport. Look for recycled content, locally sourced options and materials like sustainable timber. And we can also do energy efficiency practices designed for passive heating, cooling, high insulation, airtight construction, and utilize energy efficient appliances, lighting, and such things. Incorporate on-site solar panels, geothermal heating, and cooling to explore connections to community level renewable energy grids. And also implementation of green infrastructure. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Green roofs and green walls. These systems absorb rainwater, reduce energy needed for cooling, and provide natural insulation. And we can also have permeable pavements. They allow water to infiltrate the ground, decreasing runoff and reducing strain on drainage systems. You talked about rain gardens and bioswales. Attractive landscaping features that capture and filter stormwater, preventing it from overwhelming sewers.
Right.
And then also that something that we have been talking about since we came here into the studio this morning is promoting the density and transit-oriented development. Compact and mixed use development encourage building upward, combining residential and commercial spaces. This reduces the need for car-based transportation and promotes walkable communities. So your apartment is downstairs and then your office is up.
It's up. So you don't have to.
You just need to take the lift to your working space.
Yes.
So
we actually have a hybrid model. And I've also seen how people are buying. There's something called an air right, environmental air right. If I build a house here in 1990s, it's a bungalow. It's only just one floor. And then in the future, there is need for the next compound to build an 8-storied building. So you find in some developed countries, they buy the air. So if you want to build an 8-storied building next to me, you have to buy that right from me. Have you ever had that?
Able say that again. I don't understand.
I built a house in the 90s. It's a bungalow. Bungalows don't usually go more floors. It's probably 2 or just 1 floor. And then in the future, of course, because Nairobi has now had a big population, somebody in the next compound wants to build an 8-storied building. And I had patented the air right.
Above
me, and in my surrounding. And because I still want to enjoy my view, I still want to enjoy my peace. If this person
you want to see the sun rise and set.
Yes. So if you want to build your 8-storied building, you have to buy that right from me. I think it's the same concept that carbon trading uses, because you find highly industrialized countries like China, the US, they emit a lot. They have higher emissions of carbon dioxide into the environment, into the atmosphere. And let's say a country like Kenya, which is also, industrialized, but emits very little. So there's a right to damage. So they pay us they pay us to, let's say, for example, they pay us to plant 10 hectares of forest. As we've said there, a forest reduces the fever of the planet.
Yeah.
It absorbs that heat. It soothes it. Understand? So these developed countries, because first of all, they have very little land left for forest. So they pay another country that emits very little, has very little emissions, to plant trees. I think that's what Ruto signed up for when they did the convention in last year.
What did he sign on?
There was a carbon trading agreement between him and the G8.
What is carbon trading?
That's what I was explaining. Carbon emission is like the toxic materials that we emit into the atmosphere. That's number one. Yes, understood that.
Yes.
So when we emit, when we have these emissions into the atmosphere, it changes the component of the atmosphere,
Yes.
and that is among the key causes of global warming.
Yes.
That's number three. Number four, when a country is more industrialized, for example, ukienda industrial areas, you'll see some soot inaenda jua nini,
coming out, yes.
coming out.
Kama ile tunaonanga in a blanket China,
Yeah.
some Chinese.
Yeah, but if you go to China, it's even worse.
Yeah.
In some places, you won't see the next 1 kilometer. It's all foggy.
Yeah.
So this, in more industrialized countries, have very little capacity to manage that emission. They can only use energy efficient technology, but they cannot completely undo the emission.
Yeah.
So what do? Because we live in the same planet, they look elsewhere. And they see, Kenya has the capacity to plant trees. And we know the importance of trees and natural vegetation.
To the world.
Yes, to the world. So they enter an agreement with Kenya and pay them a certain amount of money. Understand? So there's a trading of
So we plant trees on their behalf.
Yes.
They can't plant. They can't plant. They can't plant trees in Shanghai, but we can plant in Naivasha.
Yes.
So we plant in Naivasha.
Yes.
And they pay us to plant that.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's all one world, and we are all trying to save the humanity.
Yes. And people like Mordecai Ogada, who is a very good conservationist, has been very critical about it. They're saying it's
Why?
a big hoax.
Why?
I understand where he's coming from, because one, he usually likens it to cryptocurrency. There's a lot of things we do not understand about it, particularly when political capital is involved, political charters. People sign agreements on paper, but what happens in real life is not a reflection of that.
Is he saying that there is no planting of trees?
Yes.
I would be concerned if there is no real planting of trees.
Yeah, that's number one. Number two is, if you are emitting gas and you are technologically efficient, who are you lying to?
Okay.
Because
Yes.
if you're more industrialized, it means you have the capacity to reduce the emissions significantly.
So the problem that Ogada is having is that don't tell us to plant trees.
Plant them yourself.
Manage your emissions properly.
Yes. Or plant the trees yourself, because you still have the land. Does China not have lands? Or the UK or the US?
Okay, so then I don't understand what is going on. So why do you think the UK is telling Kenyans to plant trees, and they have the same land to plant trees?
That goes also back to imperialism, where they usually feel that we have the responsibility to take care of the ills that they have created themselves. Because they are at the forefront of these emissions.
It's political.
It's very political.
How do we benefit if we are given money to plant trees?
I think the way you're benefiting is, number one, it actually comes back home. When you plant trees, the benefits are reaped within home. They're real time. But number two, there's a money coming in because of carbon trade. There's a real money coming in out of that, and we can use that money elsewhere.
Still, it does not answer the question why the US would rather Kenyans plant trees and not them.
Why don't they?
That's the question I would like you to answer for me.
Why don't they have, like, for example, steel mining in the US anymore? Or why don't they have industries assembling stuff and instead go and outsource that labor in China? Because of cost.
Because of cost, yes.
Because of cost.
Yes.
The cost of planting one tree in Kenya, how much do you think it is?
Oh, I get you.
Yes. So instead of them going the longer route,
it's cheaper for Kenyans they rely on Kenyan cheap labor.
Well, that's number one.
To plant trees.
Yes.
Okay. Rather than getting 1,000 New Yorkers to plant trees is going to cost millions of dollars, while getting Nairobians to plant trees in Nairobi might just cost thousands of dollars.
Yes. Does it make sense?
No,
What do you think about carbon trading? What are we trading exactly? Are we trading air? Are we trading like? There's a time during COVID when
No, I have a very big problem with calling it trading. It's not a trade, bro.
it's not a trade. That is what Mordecai is saying.
But I don't understand why Mordecai just has a problem with the phraseology of it.
Yes.
Why does he have a problem with once you understand what is the concept? Why do you have a problem with it?
I think mostly because at the
It's
end of
like the equation of Elon Musk, open AI,
closed
closed
AI.
Is it not the same?
It could be the same.
It's the same because once you understand the concept, in fact, for me, you have explained the concept so well that it is the issue of cost. That for us to plant 1 million trees, it will cost us 100 million USD. For us to do that in New York, it will cost us that much, 100 million USD. For us to do the same thing in Kenya, it will cost us 30 million USDs. We are saving 70 million.
But why don't they do it themselves? Because at the end of the day,
it is costly.
They're supposed to have a moral responsibility on their own backyard.
But they're doing it anyway. They're paying for it.
So that is the trading.
Yeah, they're paying for it. I mean, we all want the world to be
better.
To be better.
Yes.
Does it matter who plants the tree?
It does matter.
It does matter.
It does matter.
Why?
There's something called a forest distribution and forest coverage. If
Mm.
one part of the world is covered, do you know that
that's another interesting thing that you're bringing into and that's the argument.
Yes.
That's the argument that Mordecai Ogada should have. The distribution.
What about the moral responsibility? Because sometimes it's kind of
the moral
like,
responsibility.
if I can pay you to do it,
but they have
then I
already
don't have
given
to
the
do
money.
It. So if I can pay you to do it,
they are
then I
not
don't
like
have to do it.
flogging you on the back to plant the trees. They are paying you to do it.
But actually, they are doing, because one thing I think they are actually twisting most African leaders.
Yeah.
And into signing agreements and charters, which they usually don't.
Well, they really twisted. We love the money, bro.
We love the money, but
we
the
are
money.
We are nobody has.
But the money rarely.
Nobody has told Ruto that he has to do. Like, it's called trading. Is there anybody? It's not slave trade. It's trading. They have told you that, look, we have got these millions lying about. Do you want to plant trees? Yeah.
Is that ruling over the money?
Yeah. Yes.
How many trees have we planted since we had the?
Do I know? Do I know? I am completely in the dark.
Exactly.
Huh? There are several issues here, bro. And you and Ogada, I understand where you're coming from. First of all, you think your thinking is this way. You're the one effing off the environment. Okay? Plant the trees, make it better. Okay? You're also saying that it is important for the distribution of forest and trees. So we don't have all the trees in Kenya and we don't have some in the US. That's bad, I think.
It's skewed.
It's skewed, yeah? But the problem, you are claiming that the reason why you're saying it is like what? He likened it to what?
To buying air.
Kuna ingine.
Which one?
Did you say it's like
cryptocurrency?
Yes.
Yes, because cryptocurrency is still very new and there's a lot of myths in it. There's a lot of misunderstandings in it.
This thing is straightforward.
Yeah.
This thing is more straightforward than crypto.
Yes.
Bena, mimi staki kuplant trees. Lakini we unataka hii pesa uende uplant trees. It is so straightforward. I don't know why Uganda is politics. I understand the politics in it, but you can't compare it to cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Because if I tell you go plant 1 million trees and I'm going to give you 1 million Kenya shillings, so that means planting one tree is $1, sindio? $1. If you plant one tree, it's 140 something Kenya shillings. Okay. So, for example, we get a tree for Kenya shillings 40.
Yeah.
Okay. And we use the 100 to give the person planting. So, if you go and plant 30 trees in a day, we give you 3,000. Sindio?
Yeah.
But you see now, that is about $30. It's going to be very difficult to pay a New Yorker $30 for a whole day.
To go plant trees.
You know?
And why not?
Huh?
Why not? That's the argument Akina Mordecai are saying. Well, why not?
Why not?
Because
why not give them $30?
Yes.
They're going to say no.
Why can't we say no to $30?
No, but you can. Go ahead and say no.
And then we'll plant the trees.
Yeah?
And then
now we have a stalemate. Now we have a stalemate. If you don't want to plant trees for $30,
yeah.
But which Kenya is going to say no to planting trees for 3,000 Kenya shillings a day?
Do you think there's that argument?
Do you
is
know how much
problematic?
that? How do you know? We are going to come to the how problematic it is. But
Yes.
how much is that in a month? How much is 3,000 per day in a month?
3,000 per day. That's a lot of money. Almost 90,000.
Mm-hmm. Do you know manual laborers that are paid 90,000 a day?
No way.
So
So self-defeated.
wewe bwana msikae tu kwa boardroom ya NGOs na mnasema vitu kama hizo na you don't know what is going on kwa
In real life, kwa ground.
Benao jamaa.
But you also have to look in terms of how.
Anyway, as we come to the end of this discussion, you are talking about how problematic it is.
I think that it's problematic because one, there's a responsibility being avoided here.
Yes.
And it also makes them, because for a long time the West and mostly the Europe has been standing on our backs. And if this continues, do you think because relationships are important?
Bro, nobody's standing on anybody's back.
Okay.
Nobody's standing on anybody's back, man. Look, we this is capitalism.
Yeah.
This is just business.
It's just business.
It's just business. I'm just telling you, take this money and run and run. Take this money and run.
I've never liked the phrase. It's just business. So okay.
It's business in the sense that the thing is, you cannot force a New Yorker to work for $30 a day.
But you can force an African to do that.
No.
Okay.
In real life, a Kenyan would work for 3,000 in a day. Hata mimi nitafanyia 3,000 in a day. Unaona? And I'm going to say yes to that money. A New Yorker is going to say no to that money. Hata even in everyday life, you have people that you have a particular budget. You see, you have got a particular budget. Oh, let me say. So maybe I get that now. The point could be that instead of sending us 100 million, triple it and have New Yorkers plant.
Because you also have the money.
Yeah,
and it kind of also contributes to passion, like the passion involved, the passion you were talking, the love of your own country. Let it start from the backyard, so that if you tell us, we have this model.
If that were the argument, then I completely agree with you.
Okay, so going forward as we wrap up the show, what do you think we can do towards climate change?
We do more carbon trading.
That's so sad, man. All right. Carbon trading? Okay.
No, to be serious, I think everybody around the world to plant the trees.
Do you remember 4K Club back in the day in primary school?
Hapana, mimi nilikuwa ocha bwana.
Sasa 4K Club ilikuwa kwa rural. Ama ni aje bena? It used to be there.
Mimi sijasikia kitu kama hiyo.
4K Club was basically an agriculture, and rural agriculture was part of it.
At the 4K Club?
Yes.
Which school?
Bana.
Wewe ulienda shule wapi?
Hata Nyabondo.
Nyabondo what? Nyabondo what?
Eh?
Nyabondo what?
Okay, it was a boarding school, yes.
Bwana, wewe you are privileged.
But then again, I also went to a local school in Sigoti.
Wapi.
And there was 4K Club. Remember, there's this weed called Kayongo. The one that has very pink flowers.
Yes.
So we used to be told to come with it to school every morning. Do you know why they used to do that? Because there was a widespread of Kayongo back in the day in farms. So that was one way of eradicating it. And that used to be run by 4K clubs. Back then when agriculture was still being taught in primary school.
They don't teach it anymore?
They do. They have changed it to, I think, environmental science. So ideally, I think we should plant more trees. We should look at, do a self-audit back at home. Like just, look at the bulbs you're using at home.
Me, I planted 3,000 trees in my home.
You have?
3,000.
That's very good. That's very good.
3,000. I'm leading with action.
I have about one and
I
have a half an acre of trees. It's almost my height.
Good.
Yeah, so we should also do self-audit in terms of the kind of appliances we use, the kind of cars we use, Take more personal initiative.
I have really enjoyed this discussion. I was very ish about the discussion of climate change. Hata by now wasn't really.
Yeah.
Sasa hawa jamaa wataongelea nini leo. But I've really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed it. And this has been Oduor Jagero, Power Morning Drive. And Omondia Chuka, right?
Yes, it's a wrap.
Yeah, what is our hashtag?
Power Morning Drive.
Hashtag Power Morning Drive.
Yes.
Power Radio. Okay, and so we'll see you. This weekend is going to be Easter. I wish you guys all the best and safety on the roads as you travel. I'm also planning to go to the village and see my chickens. So, we hope that everything is going to be good. And when Easter is over, everybody will still be in one piece. That is our prayer. So,
take care. Enjoy your Easters.
Thank you very much.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Tumejuana muda mfupi na yeye, wiki moja au mbili sijui, nilipomuona nilijua ni yeye, sababu mimi na feel tumejuana milele. Shida moja ni kuwa nikijipa kwa urahisi sitapata heshima. If I act like a queen, he'll treat me just like a queen. But if I act so cheap, then he'll treat me so cheap. Nikimuona waweza dhani mimi ni fala. Nikimuona that's when my heart skips a beat. Nikimuona waweza dhani mimi ni fala. Nikimuona stranger you may say, aha, indeed it seems. Nilivyofunzwa na mamangu ni hivi, heshima zangu, hisia zangu ziwe daima akilini, lakini bado nataka kuwa naye, ukweli sifichi. Shida moja ni kuwa nikijipa kwa urahisi sitapata heshima. If I act like a queen, he'll treat me just like a queen. But if I act so cheap, then he'll treat me so cheap. Nikimuona waweza dhani mimi ni fala. Nikimuona that's when my heart skips a beat. Nikimuona waweza dhani mimi ni fala. Nikimuona unirumie my baby naomba usinitese my baby unipeleke kwa mama atatupatia mali tufunge ndoa ya lo. My baby unirumie my baby naomba usinitese my baby unipeleke kwa mama atatupatia mali tufunge ndoa ya lo. My baby nikimuona waweza dhani